Okay, kids, Shavua Tov. It's a minhag on Motzei Shabbos to tell a story of a tzaddik, and it is a great blessing. So today we're going to do a story of one of the big Hasidim he was a Chassid, he was a Rebbe, but he was a Talmid of the Baal Shem Tov, guys. And his name was Elimelech of Lizansk, that's right. So in the vicinity of Lizansk, there was a very big Paretz, and he was certainly no lover of Jews. He actually didn't care for anyone. All he wanted was money. And he used to want to really torment the Jews and schlep a lot of money out of them. You see, he owned all the land. And so they had to pay him rent. And every year he used to make up his mind. When the Jews come and it's time for rent, I am going to up the prices and I'm going to be hard on them. And I'm going to demand even more money from them. But every time when they would come, somehow they would tell the Paretz, they'd say, please, our dear Pan, that was how they referred to him. It's so difficult, we're barely making money, we can't even feed our children. Please don't raise it, even this is too much. And every time he'd turn soft. Every time, become a big softy, which was wonderful. And he'd say, okay, all right, never mind. And some years he'd even lower the rent even more. But he never upped it. And as soon as they would leave, his heart would turn harsh again. And he'd like, what did I do? What a fool I was. Why did I give in to their cries and their pleas? And he almost thought that he was committing a sin, that he's being so nice to the Yidden. Because that's how warped his idea was. Because, he wasn't Jewish, obviously. He was from a different religion, and he thought that his religion demanded that he should be mean to the Jews. And so, here's a couple of minutes. And so, he decided he's going to go and he's going to make a confession to the priest. In their religion, they have this thing. I'll explain. In their religion, they have this thing that if a person does an Aveira, does something wrong, he needs to go to the Shmatahois. No, it's good. They have to go to the church, to the whatever, Shmatahois.
Like a laundry place?
No. And they confess and they say, priest, father, I did this wrong, I did that wrong, please forgive me. Now children, with us as Yidden, we do say sorry, but we say to Hashem. That's right, we do Hashem, nu bagad, nu gazal, nu, right? We say, please Hashem, it's between you and God. But either way, this is their religion, okay? It's a way of them repenting. But so he comes to the Shmatahois and to the place, and he tells the priest, tells the Galach, I did a terrible sin. For years I've been sinning. And he says, what's your sin? He says, every time I mean to make the rent very high for the Jews, and every time I don't make it high, and I don't make it high, they cry for me and I make it even lower. So the priest says to him, he says, it's not your fault. They have a big secret. He says, what do you mean the Jews have a secret? He says, they have a very holy man living in Lizansk. His name is Reb Elimelech of Lizansk, and he's a big Rebbe. And I know on good authority that every time before they have to come to pay the rent every year, all the Jews go to Reb Elimelech of Lizansk, and they tell Reb Elimelech, please daven for us, pray for us that the Paretz should become good, he should be kind, he shouldn't make the rent more. And he does, and he says, and this man's very powerful. He's cast a spell on you. Now, of course, that's nonsense. You don't do spells. But he says, so what should I do? Because your only answer is to banish Rabbi Elimelech of Lizansk from Lizansk. Tell Rabbi Elimelech he cannot
come back here.
Right, he cannot live in Lizansk anymore. And so immediately he sends a sharp decree to Rabbi Elimelech. He has 30 days to pack his bags and leave. And that having been done,
hey, that's not nice.
he's very happy. himself.
We're gonna fashion in bathroom.
Yeah, he wasn't being nice.
Here, let's
Shush.
put him
Okay,
in
shush, 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 shush.
and fashion.
Okay. So, that having been done, the Paretz was very happy with himself, and he decides he's gonna go boar hunting. Wild boar is like a wild pig.
We want to know what
He had a
hunting is.
vast estate stretching over a huge part of the countryside. It had rivers and forests, and certainly tons of wild boar to hunt. So he goes with his closest servant, just the two of them, and he goes riding fast, and he tried to go to catch the wild boar. And after a few hours of this, they arrive by a river, and he's hot and he's sweaty. So he tells the servant, stay here with my clothing. I'm going swimming. Basically just in his underclothing. And he goes swimming. He swims on the other side of the river. He's a strong swimmer. Gets tired. He goes, he rests on the soft grass. Falls fast asleep. When he wakes up, he's like, oi, it's late. Okay, so he swims back. When he comes back, to his dismay, there's no servant. There's no horse. And worst of all, there's no clothing either. Now, he has no choice. What's he going to do? He's screaming, calling the servant. Servant's not coming. He's mad and angry with his servant. And says, oh, when I catch him, boy, I'm going to get him into trouble. And he storms into the closest village. And as he's walking in, without any of his clothes, everyone's laughing and giggling. And he starts to shout at them, how dare you? Is this how you treat your pan, like your Paretz? Show some respect. I'm going to get you into huge trouble. I'm going to throw you all out of your houses. Now, instead of taking him seriously, we thought he was a Meshigana. He was crazy. This man coming from the woods, no clothes, and screaming. And they laugh, and all the children are laughing. To the point Joe was very sad, even throwing pebbles at him.
That's not nice.
No, it wasn't nice at all. It wasn't nice. They thought he was a Meshigana.
He's a bad man.
And
In a way, he does deserve it. We should do that to him because he's a bad man.
he realizes he better keep his mouth shut. Some old shepherd takes Rahmanus on him. He says you could sleep in the barn with the animals. And I'll give you some old like sheepskin, hide, whatever, something you can use. And so now here he is sleeping in the barn with the smelly animals, starving, hungry. He had some Rahmanus on him, and as he's walking, he doesn't have proper clothing. He's wearing like this, whatever, animal skins he get, whatever, I don't know. And he's going from house to house, from village to village. He had ridden very far, trying to find his way back to Lizansk. And he's begging for food. And as he goes, children, he finds that with every village, the people are having Rahmanus on him, the Yidden. The Jewish people, they see a beggar, they see hungry, doesn't matter Jewish, not Jewish. They keep giving him food. The same people who came begging him, telling him, please, we don't have enough money. And he goes through the houses, he sees how poverty-stricken they are too. And that that they don't have much food, but the little food they have, they share with him. And he finally makes it back to Lizansk, and it's a Sunday morning. And as he comes, there's a big crowd. He's arriving by the Shmatahois, by the church.
Well, what is
And
everyone doing?
everyone's gone for their Sunday morning
What is
prayers.
Kayla, Nana still doing?
And he realizes
What is
it's not such a grand idea to storm in and say, hey, everyone, I'm the Paretz. Remember that back then there weren't cameras, there weren't pictures, there weren't videos. And people didn't really know what he looked like. And as he's coming, he's with a bunch of beggars. That's how he arrived in Lizansk. Traveling with a bunch of beggars, and they sit on the floor begging for alms, for like people to help them. And as he's sitting with all the beggars, he wants to find his servant to tell him, why did you leave me? What did you do? To his horror, he sees his servant, but his servant is wearing his clothing. And he's shocked. He looks so much like him. He never realized that the two of them looked so similar. Yeah. And he's pretending that he's the Paretz. And his first instinctive thought was he's going to pounce on him and say, you chutzpaniak, you you horrible servant. But then he realizes if he does that, people will just think that he's attacking the Paretz and they're going to kill him, throw him in the dungeons or whatever. He realizes nobody knows that that's not the real Paretz. That's his servant. Because he's with all his fanfare and his fancy hats with feathers and his royal robes. He doesn't know what to do. And as he thinks they're crying, he has no idea how he's going to make it back to his life. And now he's basically reduced to a destitute beggar. 2 more minutes. To a destitute beggar. To a beggar without any food, without any proper clothing, without a roof over his head. And he thinks, why this happened to me? What did I do wrong? And as he thinks, he realizes all this events occurred right after he banished Elimelech of Lizansk. And he says, oy vey, what did I do? And he asks the Jews, he says, excuse me, you know where the big rabbi, Elimelech of Lizansk, lived? They say, yeah, he's not far. When they show him to his house, he sees Elimelech lives in a very simple, modest house, and he knocks on the door. And as soon as he walks in, Elimelech treats him with all reverence. And Elimelech realizes exactly who he is. He doesn't think of him as a beggar or anything. And he says, Your Highness, please come in, be comfortable. And the Highness bursts out crying. And he tells Elimelech all the story, what happened. And he says, I don't know what to do. Please help me. Please pray for me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have banished you. Thank God that I didn't banish you to leave that day, there and then, and that you're still here. That you've had your 30 days to stay here. And Elimelech says, listen, you keep treating the Jews, you keep wanting to treat the Jews very harsh. He says, it's not fair. He says, I know, I'm sorry, I realize the Galach was guiding me wrong. I'm sorry, from now on I promise I'll be so good to the Jews. I see how kind they are. They were the only ones who really, really helped me out with food along the way. And I'll make the rent very cheap for them, and I'll never be hard on them again, I promise. And he says, please help me. And Rabbi Elimelech tells him, okay, here. So I'm going to lend you money. Go to your Jewish tailor, because he had a Jewish tailor. Let him make for you an exact replica outfit of your Sunday morning, what's it called? Clothing. It'll take him a week from now till next week, Sunday. And then you'll know what to do. And that's what he did. He stayed the week with the Yidden. They took care of him. They gave him food. They gave him the clothing. And Sunday morning, he arrives by the foot of the coach before the apostle, before the servant pretending to be the Paretz. And he's dressed in his royal clothing, and they helped him to give him a haircut and make him look good. And he had a good bath. Now he looked like his real self. And the coachman recognized him as the Paretz. He lets him in. And he goes to the church with all the people and everything. The apostle tries to find, doesn't see the coach. Starts to scream, where's the coach? Where's the coach? The coachman suddenly is confused. There's two Paretzes. And the real Paretz commands the servant, he says, thrash him till he confesses the truth. And they give him a good whipping or whatever. And he starts to cry and beg. He says, I'm sorry. I'm not the real Paretz. And people looking closer realize that he really wasn't the real Paretz. And from then on, the Paretz actually banishes the priest. And he says, you're inciting anti-Semitism and you can't hear anymore. You're making people hate the Jews. The Jews are really very good people in my village, and the Jewish people, for as long as that Paretz lived, they actually continued living very, very comfortably, children.